I'm sure you'll probably be aware that, well, it's July the 15th today, so that's St Swithin's Day. And so the theory goes, if it was to rain today, it'll rain for 40 days. In Ireland, it wouldn't be a surprise. At least if it's quite warm, it'll be a lot better and bearable, I suppose. Just going over a few speed bumps. Not a big fan of the speed bump for obvious reasons. Also having quite a hard suspension. Yeah, it's not great. So this is going to take me up Anglesey Road, going to fairly close to the RDS, and then onwards towards the Eastlink toll bridge. Very interesting story about the Eastlink. It's pretty much typical of the toll bridges in Ireland. So essentially there was a toll, quite a low one, I think it's less than €2 now, and it was less than that when it was opened. It was one of those where they say you pay it for so many years, as soon as the bridge is paid off, well, you know what, it'll be free. It's not free. I think it's €1.80. It doesn't change at all during the day. Once I get across the Liffey, I'm going to go past the Three Arena, which is a place where a lot of international artists perform. It's got 12,000 seats, I believe, and from there onwards to the Port Tunnel. The Port Tunnel goes underground from there and comes out just at the M50 really. So it's a large section of North Dublin is bypassed, and it's designed for trucks mainly. During hours of the day, then it's possible to go on it by car, and it's €3. Certain times of the day, so heading northbound between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m, it's €10. So obviously they want to deter cars from using it and allow trucks to use it. But as I'm in a bit of hurry today, I'm quite happy to pay the €10 for the convenience, and you know, for it being a little bit quicker than it would have been otherwise. I've just took a wrong turning, I think, as well. Oh dear. That's annoying. Yeah, it's always not a good idea to take a wrong turning during a traffic jam situation and end up in a worse jam. I don't think that was too bad though. I think this route just has more speed bumps on it. It hasn't added any time on it. I'm looking at 33 minutes for the journey, so I should arrive at around 5 p.m. In Swords. Like I was saying, it's quite a nice evening. It's warm. I've got the aircon on. The window's open as well. Hopefully there's not too much noise there. I've tried to position the microphone so that you get my voice before anything else. Maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. So yes, making good progress now, following Google Maps. In this situation, I'd always trust Google Maps. I've been in some sticky situations across Europe, in the UK, and I found Google Maps to be pretty good. I'm not certainly not perfect. It'd be quite remarkable if it was, I think. But yeah, good enough, you know. So just getting more speed bumps. They're not too bad though. You don't always know how fast you can go over them. Sometimes you can just slow down a little bit and then realise it wasn't enough. These ones are okay. These are my kind of speed bumps. I've got very hard suspension, and well, I'm a little bit older than I was 11 years ago, and I do find it can be quite painful actually, going over the bumps. Okay, so come to another junction, red lights. There's very few cars around on this route, so the timing's pretty good. It's 27 minutes past 4 in the afternoon, and I think that's definitely working in my my favour. So yeah, I'm actually fairly close to the Liffey. I can see parts of it from here on the map. Not actually in front of me. There's too many trees. It's quite a leafy part leafy part of Dublin here. It's quite well heeled, quite expensive. I'm actually, I don't know, to the right of me, about 50 metres is St Vincent's University Hospital. I'm now going onto a road called Sydney Parade Avenue. Sydney Parade is also one of the stops on the Dart. The Dart is an electric train service that goes on the south of the city. I think it's from Greystones, and goes onwards through Dublin to the north side and to Malahide, which is in the north, and just crossing the rail line now at Sydney Parade. And yeah, the barriers are up, which is always good when you're going across the train line. It'd be quite silly to go across if they were down, of course. More speed bumps, and it's that wasn't too bad, but there's quite a bit of vertical acceleration, and that's always slightly painful. Well, it is at my age now. More speed bumps, and I'm coming up to Strand Road. Strand Road is, well, it's a strand, would you believe it? There's a little bit of sand. I think you probably see it more at low tide. I'm not really going to be close enough to be able to see that today, but I'll certainly take Google Maps' word for it. Okay, so we're just slowing down a bit here now. Yeah, there's a micro doing all sorts of strange shapes in the road. It must be the weather bringing them out today. I'm not sure if they've actually driven a car before. So that was Sydney Parade Avenue, and I'm now turning left onto Strand Road. Quite a bit of traffic around, but it's all moving. I can see the ESB Poolbeg power station from here. It's just across on the other side of Liffey, and I can see the new incinerator pumping out thick black smoke, which we are told is environmentally friendly. Quite distinctive, the two chimneys. It's now a protected structure. I don't believe they use it for electricity anymore. So yeah, they're quite predominant when you're flying in and out of Dublin Airport. You can, on a good day, you'll be able to see them. Today's a good day, and I can see there's quite a few people walking up and down the Strand. There's a couple of young men there now with very hairy chests. I'm not quite sure that should be on show. Certainly not without a warning. Yeah, so I can see the incinerator. It's an odd-looking building. It looks, I mean, you could argue it looks futuristic. I think it looks absolutely horrible. It's it's a very tall building. I wonder why they couldn't dig a hole and put it in it and make it not as high as it is. But it's quite a formidable structure. So now the road is taking me up towards the centre of Dublin, and I can see a cruise liner. It's beyond over the trees, and it looks like it's parked up in Dublin Port. So it's a bit of a distance away, and if I get a bit closer, I might be close enough to actually read what it says on the side. We get a lot of cruise liners into Dublin this time of year. It peaks, I suppose, in July and August, when the weather's nice across the Atlantic, I suppose. We get a lot of tourists. I mean, these cruise liners hold thousands of people, maybe 5,000 or 6,000, maybe more. They're a huge structure, and some of the biggest cruise liners in the world are able to dock here. I'm not sure if part of the port needed dredging out to accommodate them, or if that's an ongoing process, but we can accommodate some of the biggest cruise liners. I'm going to shut the window now. I'm finding the noise of other cars quite irritating at the moment, and I hope you're not hearing them as loud as I am, but I was going to apologise if you are, but I can't make them any quieter other than shut the window. So yeah, I'm coming up to the toll shortly. I'm going to take a sharp right turn at Irish Town. It's not the Beijing turn. I suppose we could call it the Dublin turn. I don't think anybody would argue with that. And this will take us on the road then towards the toll booths for the Eastlink bridge. It does have another name. I've always known it as the Eastlink, and I seem to remember it was named after one of the councillors. It is maintained and run by the council, our Dublin City Council, and I think they do like to heap praise on each other because they do such an amazing job. I sort of take their word for that. I know nothing about what they do, and I do very little of the impact it has on my everyday life. I wouldn't normally drive into the centre of Dublin. This particular route at this particular time, It's pretty good. I'm happy enough. I've done this actually a few times, and I'm now in the lane for the toll bridge and taking the right turn now. So yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the bridge, and I think it's on the side of the bridge. So I mean, people out there, you probably who are from here, you know the name of the bridge. Yeah, good for you. It's the Eastlink, and they charge you for it still, when really they shouldn't. I appreciate it costs something to maintain. Don't get me wrong, I know how our business works, and you know that things cost money, and you have to pay people to do things. I get all that, I understand that, but it's a lot of money. Are we really getting value for money? And lots of the things that the council do, are we really getting value for money? Yeah, that's quite a profound thing to say, but I think it's all true, isn't it? So I'm just looking to the right now. I can see the incinerator. I'm assuming there's some sort of filter on that smoke. It's quite a dark grey colour. I'm not quite sure what the waste product is, and I'm sure there's some very strict European environmental laws on what can be discharged. But it doesn't look like steam anyway. Let's put it that way. Steam I probably wouldn't mind too much. I suppose in the process of evaporation and, you know, becoming a gas, you wouldn't expect too many pollutants. But yeah, I can't see any filter on the top of the chimney, which is interesting. It's also interesting there's actually lights on the Poolbeg, the ESB chimneys, and they're flashing, which is interesting because it's daylight. So I can only think, what time is it? Maybe it's this time of the winter time. It's dark, and that's why they'd be flashing. Okay, so I'm now in a queue of traffic. I'm a 26-minute time. That's not fantastic from where I am at the moment, and I think it's because of this queue. This is the queue, and this queue is solely created because of the toll booths. The toll booths, you know, fan out so everyone can pay their dues to get across the bridge, and then into one lane again. And I think there's 3, maybe 4 lanes into one. That's never a good thing. I think that, yeah, you're relying on people's good nature, aren't you, to let you in and let you move across and all that sort of thing. I'm just at the roundabout at the end of Sean Moore Road, coming on the approach to the toll. I think there was there's a few lorries around, so I'm wondering if this could be the result of a ferry or people going for a ferry. We're very close to where the containers are for the freight from Dublin Port, so maybe that's a factor. But we are moving now, so I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, we're moving. I've been in worse jams, a lot worse, and I think Google Maps maybe exaggerated the jam a little bit. It's got me down as a red. I think this is more of an amber at the moment. It's gone into an amber and then goes to red again. So this is where basically you come up to the toll, it fans out, you pay your dues, and then you merge together again. And yeah, we'd be making much better progress if there was no toll here. I wonder if you could quantify that delay, if you quantified how long extra this was taking so they could collect the money. Is it really worth collecting the money, I wonder? I can see the cruise liner now. It's Crown Princess is what it says on the side. And who's it? It's Princess Cruises. Looks quite large. I always find them a little bit comedic, some of these cruise liners, because they look like a really small ship with like a tower block, like a apartment block stuck on the top. I do wonder how much weight there must be in the base to stop it toppling over. But yeah, it's Princess Cruises. Looks lovely. Every room seems to have a balcony. Well, I suppose everyone on the outside of the boat has maybe the ones on the inside. Yeah, maybe they just have restaurants or something on the inside and something like that. So that's it's actually parked quite a long way out from Dublin. And just looking over now, there's a lot of construction going on. Looking towards the Three Arena from the conference centre, and they're building a new tower block. It's one of the tallest in Dublin, and they look ridiculous, if I'm honest, because they're very skinny. They obviously don't have the footprints of a big office, and it just looks like they're going for height over girth. Yeah, that's definitely what's going on there, I think. Okay, so I'm going for the middle lane, going to accelerate past a few of these wagons. I know they'll let me in the wagons. I mean, I know I am a BMW driver. It'll be fine. Okay, let's zoom up alongside, do a bit of acceleration, rear end's coming out a little bit, and just pushing through there now. So yeah, so basically we've gone from, like I said, we have 3 lanes down to 1 again. So we all have to be nice to each other, and yeah, that doesn't always happen. So yeah, there's a lot of construction going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm seeing 17 cranes, all within about 3 or 4 square blocks from the conference centre towards the port, Dublin Port. That's a lot of construction, which is all good, of course, because construction means money, means there's a lot of interest, there's a lot of development going on, and I suppose it's good to see. I will complain how these things look, and maybe they just need to grow on me. Maybe it's just time, and I'll go one day, yeah, that looks lovely. But at the moment, they look a bit crap. I've got a big wagon to the left of me, and he's holding back a little bit there now, so I'm pretty certain he's not going to ram me when I come to move in. We're all shimmying slowly forward, but I'm quite, yeah, there's quite a lot of construction going on around here. Yeah, I'll be intrigued to see what it's like when it's finished. It doesn't always look good when it's, yeah, it's half done. But yeah, I'm just looking around there now. There's a lot of stuff going on here now. Maybe this is the place to be in Europe. Certainly with Brexit coming up, it won't be a bad place to be. And we do speak here a form of English as well, which I know that does appeal to our American friends. So I can see the bridge now. It is possible for the bridge to lift. I don't think not in a long time I've actually seen it lift, but it does allow ships to come in. I think it's probably a schedule to it, and obviously it's probably outside of the rush hours because it is so busy. It is a very busy bridge. And the big truck, I'm actually letting go ahead of me. I did ponder for a moment if I should go in front of him, but not today. I've got a little white van to the side of me now, a little whippersnapper of a van, but he's not going to ram me. So yeah, so I'm now coming up onto the bridge. That didn't take too long, and obviously this is crossing the River Liffey, which is the river that goes through the centre of Dublin. I'm just looking to the right there now. So there's a freight, P&O freight ferry as well. Parks up, but yeah, Crown Princess. So there'll be quite a few thousand Americans, I'd say, in town today. Do a bit of the old tourist thing, I suppose. Go to Guinness Storehouse, have a walk around O'Connell Street, Grafton Street. If you're unlucky enough, they might end up in Temple Bar. There's some nice places to visit, and on a day like this, a nice pub and a nice cold beer would be lovely. I think Guinness might be a bit heavy today with the heat that's in it. Maybe 1 pint. But I'd be looking for something cold and crisp, I think. Nothing too light though. I'd be avoiding something like Budweiser. I'd be more into something like a Heineken or a Carlsberg. Something that doesn't taste of fruit as well. I'm not quite sure it's appropriate with beer. Okay, so across the Liffey, on the left-hand side is the 3 Arena that I talked about earlier, and they're also building a massive office block and apartment block. And what I think used to be the car park, or certainly part of the area next to it. On my right-hand side, it's the Dublin Port, where you catch the ferries. So you can catch a ferry to France and to the UK, to Wales. The Gibson Hotel on the left, and now heading towards the Port Tunnel. So it's quite an interesting thing, the Port Tunnel. It's relatively recent, and it's designed to take the lorries from the port off the city streets to get them away from the centre of Dublin. And I think it's very effective with that. The only problem is the biggest trucks, the tallest trucks, won't fit, and they have to go the normal way. But yeah, it's a great way to get around at this time of day, coming up to rush hour. I'm in a bit of a hurry. I don't want to be sitting around in a traffic jam. Technically, the toll Port Tunnel is the part of the M50, and it leads onto the M1 as well. And this is going to take me up towards Swords, which is near Dublin Airport, which is, yeah, like I said, on the north side of Dublin. So I'm coming up to another toll booth again. This isn't too bad though. It's a dual carriageway within the tunnel. The speed limit is 80 kilometers per hour. They apparently do police it now quite rigorously. So what I normally do is, so I don't break any laws, what I do is I set the cruise control to an optimum speed, and then I don't have to worry about getting a ticket, which isn't a nice thing to get, is it really? No. It's just warning me on the sign there that there's an accident after the exit for the M1. I assume that means on the M50, which should be okay, because I'm not going to go down the M50. I'm going to go on the M1 for a little bit, I think, until I'm at Swords. So now I'm going into the tunnel. You start descending, quite an aggressive descent. This doesn't go under the Liffey. I've already gone across the Liffey, so we're not going under a river or anything. And I think for a large portion of this motorway, you're actually under a housing estate. But it goes a long way down, so I can see there is water leaking into the tunnel. So there must be some underwater aquifer or something that does seep under here. I've set my speed now. It's at 80 kilometers an hour on my cruise control. Because the way it's calibrated, I know it's actually probably 76, which is fine. It's showing 50 though on the sign, which is a bit of a shock. It's supposed to be 80 along here. Well, not to worry. It's flowing freely. So yeah, I'm under a housing estate, and for this section goes on. It's quite a long tunnel. We had quite a sharp descent, and now a very subtle, very gradual ascent again. So we are slowly coming up again. Yeah, the sign's showing 50 kilometers. I think that's a little bit a bit silly, considering there's very few cars around. So I'm not going to slow down. I feel that might hinder the good progress of other vehicles. So I'm going to keep at this speed now. Sat-nav's telling me I'm 4.1 kilometers from Dublin Airport. So yeah, I have about 4 kilometers left of the tunnel, and yeah, we're making good progress. Yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of vehicles in the tunnel. A lot of vans on the left-hand side, and a lot of the signs are saying that there is an accident as we come out of the tunnel. Google Maps is showing a little bit of red, not much red to be fair. The tunnel itself seems okay, but we do merge some lanes when we come out, so a little bit of concern. I can see a long way ahead of me now in the tunnel, and everything's still moving briskly. The left-hand lane of the tunnel is pretty much solid wagons and trucks, which is to be expected. I mean, that's primarily what the tunnel's all about. They actually they can come through for free, just to make sure that they do, I suppose. I'm just looking at the meter on the recorder, and it seems to be going a bit crazy. I'm not sure if they've got a fault here. Just have a quick look here. Yeah, so it's coming up as maximum audio. I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe it's the bass sounds or something that are causing that to happen. And I've got a peak light on, but I'll have a listen to it anyway when I get home and see how it is.